We would like this to be a fun and interactive session like the ones that we've had before. So thank you again for joining. I don't know if you want to go into the next slide, Aide. So this is this week's calendar. So we're here, number 4, on Thursday afternoon. There's going to be another one tomorrow. And a lot of people also joined the meditation this morning. That was great. So thank you for participating of all of these initiatives that are being organized and created for all of us, because I'm taking advantage of them as well.
Great.
So if you can, so this is just basically the coffee break, healthy habits. That's what we're gonna be discussing today. But Aidelisa, before we go into the nitty gritty,
Yes.
Go into the nitty gritty. How do you feel today?
Well, in the morning, I felt a bit anxious because I was preparing for the meditation session. Then after the meditation session, I felt calmer. And then I felt again a little bit anxious. And it's like, like that. So.
Okay.
And how about you? How are you feeling?
So I feel calm today. I'm a little bit nervous because we're facilitating this. However, I feel calmer today than I did yesterday. I feel that I'm a bit less energetic, but I think it has to do with, one, the meditation this morning. So thank you for that. And then a couple of things that happened in our team today that helped me just look at things in a different perspective today. So just calm, I guess.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for sharing your how you feel. And for the rest of you that are here, we're not necessarily going to be sharing right now how all of us, like how of you feel. However, we wanted to do this because this is an example of a habit that we're trying to create within our team. So I know that now that we're all working remotely, we're not face to face, we all miss that texture that we get from those in-person face-to-face interactions. And trying to implement something like this, something as simple as doing a check-in for the first 5 minutes of a meeting when possible, asking people how they feel, because of everything that we're going on. We think it's a healthy habit to create.
Yes. Thank you, Marta. And now, those that are joining us, well, everyone is joining us in Zoom. I still am not making the switch, that we do hybrid types of trainings, but this is full remote. What is a habit for you? You can reply via Zoom, the Zoom chat. We want to start sharing our thoughts, because it could be different for each of us, or we could have different perspective as to what it is a habit. Hector, thank you. Waking up early could be a habit. Something you do regularly is a habit. Something that you do almost automatic. Carla, yes. Adriana, something that you do consistently. Something that becomes automatic. I think I read that. Something I do without thinking about it. Mm-hmm. Part of
your daily routine. That's another one. A habit is. I guess it's a question. Is a habit the same as a routine? That's a good question. We'll try to answer that later. Let's just go back to that question later. And I guess I'll be learning that too today.
Cool. I think it could be Mercy.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Mercy.
A habit is same as a routine. I would say it is too. Staying up early in the Pacific time zone for those PR time meetings. That could, yeah, you're making it a habit. Yeah. Adriana, I don't. Adriana, you don't think it is a routine is same as a habit? Okay.
I don't either.
Okay. Cool. We can chat about it. I like. Thank you, Carolina, for stirring it up. I like it. So we can hold that and then have like a group conversation at the end of the session. Yes.
We should. I'll totally that. So.
What? Someone said something. That's exactly what I think.
I agree to have that conversation.
Love it. A habit is part of a routine. Okay. Well, I think everyone commented. We'll hold that for a group conversation after we finish what we want to share with you. And so to sort of, bring clarity, doing a search of what habit is, some of you mentioned it already. It's an acquired behavior. It's like pattern, an acquired behavior pattern regularly followed until it has become almost involuntary. So it's like an automatic, a particular practice, custom, or usage, a dominant or regular tendency that prevails, prevailing character or quality. Okay, those are like definitions that we found. And so we want to start with this image, which I kind of loved it, and it is like, who's ready to have it kicking just like Bruce Lee, if those of you know who Bruce Lee is. So we want to give and provide some tools and experiences that we've used or currently use to start changing or leaving or taking out from our lives, just like Bruce Lee is doing with these people that are coming to attack him. Okay, so we all have habits that run our lives, whether you are aware of them or not. And to me, this is the most important and revealing part, is that we sometimes are not aware of habits that run our lives. And we have put them in 3 buckets. First, it would be like habits that run our lives in the physical aspect or in our lifestyle. Here would be like exercise, sleep hygiene, eating, or any type of habit. Hobby would be in the physical and lifestyle bucket. Here, the image, what tries to convey is balance, because right now, like sleeping is very important for us, but for me, I need a certain amount of hours, but maybe for others, they could do less. So habit could change for us. So for what it is a good habit for me, maybe it's not for you. So this is something very personal that each of us has to like be self-aware of. Then the second one would be electronics and social media or news. Like right now that we are in our houses in quarantine, we could be prey of the news, of the social media and electronics, and not necessarily that would bring us peace or calm, or it's not necessarily a good habit. So it's important to have balance into how much news or how much we use the electronics. And the third bucket would be the mental and the emotional habits. Here would all the attitudes, those reactions that we just do them automatically and we don't even are aware that we do that. Also biases that we may hold. What else? I think those. Mm-hmm. Marta?
No, I was just thinking that we hold like dear, like important to us.
Yes. So here, the important thing is that we must be very self-aware of our habits, either those that are really good and those that are probably not that good, that are not adding much value to our day-to-day. So the important thing is to have a balance, okay? And now we're going to share like a short video of the author of the book, The Power of Habits. And he sort of provides a really good explanation in a short amount of time of the habits.
Imagine for a moment that you have a habit that you really want to change. Let's say, for instance, you go up to the cafeteria every afternoon and you eat a chocolate chip cookie. This habit has caused you to gain a little bit of weight. In fact, this habit has caused you to gain exactly 8 pounds, and your wife has started making some pointed comments. And when I say you, what I really mean is me, because this is a habit that I had that I just couldn't kick. To understand why that habit was so powerful and what it would take to change it, I had to learn how habits work. Every habit functions the same way. At first, there's a cue, some type of trigger that makes the behavior unfold
Oh, sorry.
automatically. Studies tell us that a cue can be a location, a time of day, a certain emotional state, other people, or just a pattern of behaviors that consistently triggers a certain routine. To figure out the cue for my craving, I spent a few days tracking exactly when the urge to eat a cookie hit. And what I noticed pretty soon was something interesting. The cookie craving always hit about between 3 o'clock and 3:30 in the afternoon. That was my cue. It was a certain time of day. The next part in the habit loop is the routine, the behavior itself. And for me, that was pretty easy to figure out. Every day between 3 and 3:30, I'd get this craving for a cookie. I'd get up out of my chair. I'd walk over to the elevator. I'd take the elevator up to the 14th floor. I'd get out. I'd buy a cookie, and then I would eat it while talking to my colleagues in the cafeteria. The last part of the habit loop is the reward. And in some respects, the reward is the most important part because that's why habits exist, so that we can get the rewards that we want. But figuring out a reward is kind of tricky. To figure out what reward was driving my habit, I did a little bit of an experiment. One day when the cookie urge struck, instead of going up to the cafeteria, I went outside and I took a walk around the block. Then the next day, I went up to the cafeteria, but instead of buying a cookie, I got a candy bar and then ate it at my desk. And then the day after that, I went up to the cafeteria again, but I didn't buy anything. Instead, I just talked to friends for about 10 minutes. You get the idea. What I was trying to do was test different hypotheses to figure out what reward I was actually craving. And what I figured out pretty quickly was it had nothing to do with cookies. It had to do with socializing. Nowadays what happens is at about 3:30 in the afternoon, I absentmindedly stand up, I look around the office, I see a friend, I'll walk over and we'll gossip for 10 minutes and then I'll go back to my desk. The urge to go get a cookie has completely disappeared. The new behavior has become a habit, and I've lost about 12 pounds as a result. Studies have shown that if you can diagnose your habits, you can change them in whichever way you want. So what are the cues, routines, and rewards in your life? What habit do you want to change? The power of habit. Why we do what we do in life and business. Learn more at thepowerofhabit.com.
Okay. And I recommend going to that site. It has really good information. We are going to share some links for you to explore. So now we want to share like what he mentioned, right? The cue, the reward, and the routine. How would that work if, for example, you want to start exercising, right? Let's say how we can then go through that as an example. It's important that you notice the cues, like all habits have thoughts and action. And the example he gave, it was, I guess, pretty interesting. Now that we are not going to the office, like how can we do it? Like how can we, that was his lab. Our lab would be our house where we are right now and our interactions, right? Wanted to mention that. So going back to this exercise, we want to focus on lifestyle. What do you want to start doing? I want to start exercising. So let's do like a map, right? What's the cue? You need to identify the trigger, like time, place, people, emotion. I could use myself as an example. Like right now, a cue would be in the morning when I wake up, like I am full of energy. That could be a good cue or a good trigger for me. What emotion do you think will you be feeling, or I will be feeling? Who will be around? Where will you be? It's important that you start thinking. Then the reward. What's the reward that you will give yourself after you finish working out? It could be sharing it with your friends that you accomplished it. Then the routine. What will be a routine? Leave everything ready the day before so that when I wake up, I have everything ready to get up and start exercising, right? And then in this example, the author of The Power of Habit mentions that it's important that you write it, that you write a plan. Just like when we write, do a planning for our goals, this will be the same. And then you break it, right? You write it when, that's the cue. When I get up in the morning, what's the routine? I will put my exercise gear and go out to run. And then what's the reward? Because I would like to share my accomplishment with my friends. And here, while we were preparing this information, we were reflecting on our experiences, Marta and I. And Marta, I don't know if you want to share your experience in your process of starting to do Zumba.
Yes, so I've actually had several cues telling me that I needed to exercise more. So before COVID, I actually started going to Zumba classes because I realized that everything else that I tried was not really working. And one of routine that I blocked my calendar. That's one of the things that I did in terms of routine. Also, I prepared my bag the day before, which is something that I barely did. I always picked up the outfits the same day and always was in a rush. So I changed that habit and I made it part of my routine. And then the reward was to, after the sessions, I just sent in the WhatsApp chat to the team, like done, like session, today's session done. So that was sort of my reward. That's how I felt better with the process.
Yes, thank you for sharing that, Marta. And then another habit could be then, instead of creating one, this will be like, let's try to modify or change. Like if we are feeling anxious or we tend to react, this would be focused on those emotional habits. Let's say, for example, like these days right now, I'm going to share an personal experience of how I've been feeling. Sometimes like the cue would be increase of work, just like requests, either emails or right now that we are remote, like everything comes either the chat or Skype, like that's a cue for me. And then a reward, maybe in this time, like the reward is not a positive one. It generates feelings of anxiousness, like I get anxious. And then the routine, like what is my mental routine? Then it would be internal feeling of anxiety. I would have catastrophizing thoughts, like I'm not gonna finish on time, or I would then become negative or paralyzed. Because of the story that I have created, because that's my routine, right? So what I did is, like, then how can I manage this? Like when I get the cue, like when there is an increase in requests, what will I do differently? I will take notes, put it in writing, the things that are coming, because if I have like multiple sources coming, okay, I have a paper here, I have a pen, and then I start writing away like a filtering, and then because it provides me with peace of mind. Okay. So we want to share with you 3 habit diffusers that we have found that they are definitely helpful. The first one is be curious. It's important that you see yourself like an experiment or for experimentation. Like if you see or if you feel these days you haven't feel calm, or you think like, there are so much things changing, like, okay, stop and be curious with yourself and identify habits that you want to modify. Write them down, like why would you like to change them. Then important, choose a replacement habit. The first, let's do an example. Let's say that I've been drinking a lot of soda, like at night. Every night I open the fridge and I just drink, I don't know, 2 Coke. And I have recognized that doesn't do good to my health. So what you could do as a replacement is that first, when you go to the supermarket, don't buy any sodas, and instead buy something else. Buy some healthier options, so that when you get that craving, that cue of craving of going to the fridge, when you open it, you're not going to find it. So you're going to have to drink something else instead of the soda. And then the third step, we invite you that for a certain amount of time, they recommend 21 days, 30 days, for a month, commit to this new challenge. And it's important that you get an accountability partner, like involve your family in this process, or your team members in what Marta mentioned. She involved us in the process. of being her accountability partners. And Veronica or myself or Daniela will tell Marta is 6 already, just get up. And we will say just get up. We will say something even harder, but I'm not going to say share it here. Get up. You need to get up and moving because you're not going to get your class on time. So it's a really great process because we feel part of the success of I feel part of your process of getting this new habit. I don't know if you want to share something else, Marta, of the
No,
process.
I think I guess it made the world of a difference. Because in my case, like, for example, my husband will say, yeah, you just need to make sure that you leave and then you just continue working from home, but you have to leave because if not, you're never going to get to the class. However, having that person there and telling me, Aidelisa, is like, no, you need to get up. Like, you really need to leave. And you cannot imagine how many times I was thinking, just hope that they don't say anything so I can stay working, but they just stop by and just say, you have to go. So they actually made me leave. So that helped me a lot. That made the world of a difference.
Yes, and then I was mentioning that in my case, I have already made a habit of running for already 4 years. At the beginning, it was not easy getting up earlier and actually doing the exercise. So my accountability partner is my husband, and since he's so competitive, we have become very competitive. And just to not hear him brag about that he ran and I did not, I just get up and start running because I don't want to listen to him telling me that I didn't comply with my commitment. And the last step is that, like, if you mess up, if you didn't do it for X or Y reason, just restart. I mean, this is just a process. It's a process for being self-compassionate with yourself. Been doing something for a long time, or you just want to start doing something. It's a learning process, and so the most important part is being compassionate with yourself, and just if you fall from the process, just start again. And we wanted to invite you now, like for this past week, what have you identified that can start doing differently that will add value to your life? And also, I wanted to add something else. What have you done before these past weeks that have helped you cope with the quarantine process? So it's like a two-way type of question. And you may raise your hand in Zoom for talking. We want to, I think the wealth of information here is what we share. At least that's what have been my experience from the previous sessions. All the things that you have suggested, they pop into my head. I'm like, do this because I heard someone say this.
I can go first.
Yes, Danny.
So those of you on my team know that I'm not really a morning person. I really struggle in the morning. I have to drink coffee. I've become better at it. And one thing that I've been doing for the past, let's say, year is waking up and working out in the morning. I never thought I was going to be able to do it because I wake up at 5:30. It's very early. However, I work out, I come back home, then I shower, have breakfast, and get to work, and I'm fully energized. So it has really changed my life and the energy that I have in the morning. And now during this quarantine, I have kept that schedule, even though I could sleep a little bit more because I'm in my house and I don't have to commute. But I've kept doing that routine. I'm waking up early, like not 5:30, but 6:30. I'm going to run in my condo, which is not so big, but at least I can run. And then doing some exercise, and it has really helped. Actually, yesterday I was a little bit lazy and I didn't do it. And I saw the difference between yesterday and today. Yesterday I didn't have a great day. I was like very anxious. I wasn't motivated. Like I felt very claustrophobic with the whole quarantine thing. And then today it was completely different. So I encourage you during these times to really work out in the morning. It really helps, or even in the afternoon once you're done with everything. It really changes like your energy and how like you tackle everything that you have to do. So that's my experience.
Awesome. Thank you, Danny.
I actually want to recognize you there, that Danny, the fact that you created it you were doing it before and then you continue doing it during these past weeks. That could be challenging to do because the routine changed completely.
Yeah.
So that was, I recognize you there. That was great.
Thank you.
Yes.
I would like to go second. Something that I have been doing the past weeks, but started doing it before quarantine. Now it's like a little bit, it's more because of the time I have, is reading, especially books that can help me understand life and give me like tools for what I am studying in college and also the workplace I am. I hated reading a lot. I don't like to read. I have to read out loud because I just start, if I read in silence, I just repeat the same word with my eyes and I get confused. So that's why I hated reading. So what I did is that I just started to read out loud and then just stop like telling myself what I was reading and start to get on that routine and getting that habit to read like in silence. And it's been 1 year and now I completed my first book that I haven't like read it out loud. So I feel very proud of myself, and it's also something that I see progress because being a young person, I have a lot of friends that are very like, they have more age than me. And some in the past I felt like very I always took a lot of precaution of what I said because I did not have like a lot of knowledge, but reading and downloading articles regarding business or marketing or things like that have given me the opportunity to open myself and have like more knowledge and being able to speak with people that have a lot of knowledge and being part of a conversation. So I feel very proud of what I actually accomplished this Saturday, reading that book like in silence. It was a huge moment for me.
That's great.
Thank you for sharing. I'm reading some comments here. Awesome. That's awesome, Adriana. Adriana Angela, meal planning, it helps me before conscious of time spent cooking, cleaning up. In terms of my new routine, I have also greater awareness of what I've been touched. And my refrigerator that needs to get used up, or any items that may abandon in the pantry or freezer. La Ronda, congrats, Adriana, you go, girl. Any other sharing of thoughts?
This might be a good opportunity to talk about routine versus habit.
Yes.
Remember that question at the
I want to
beginning?
hear that, yeah.
So I think there are different schools of thoughts around that.
Yes.
Who would like to talk about theirs?
I actually wrote something down just not to forget it. This is because I said that I didn't actually agree with what Carolina said. So I'm just gonna read it and that's it because I have to leave. It's I read Atomic Habits by James Clear. So I have his perspective in what a habit is. And what I wrote is that a habit is something you learn to include in your life for better for yourself because it is good for you. A routine is, yes, the root of a habit, but it can be stopped if it affects yourself as well. Sometimes routines we do that, they are done even if we don't like them, meaning something that can be work related, or if you're studying like me, sometimes I don't like the routines. And nothing, the final thing was that a habit remains always. Routines always change. That's my thought.
Interesting. I like that. What you
Thank
how
you, Adriana. Thank you so much.
Thank
Well,
you.
Well, look at how I see it, and I don't know if it confuses me. Okay.
Love the existentialism. I love it. Yeah.
Consider that I have a routine, right? I go to my personal trainer. Now I don't go. I do it virtually, right? And it's always on Mondays and Wednesdays, and that's like my happy place where I know that at least I do exercise 2 times a week. That is a routine. The habit is that on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, I usually don't wait. I wake up early in the morning, but I don't do the exercise. That is a bad habit because since I don't have someone accountable for the classes, the habit is that even though I'm awake, I don't do the exercise. That's why I think that there could be positive habits and negative habits. And what are those negative habits that you want to eliminate and make a routine that will help you improve that bad habit into a good habit? I don't know.
Yeah, it could be seen that way.
So I understood, Carolina. So it didn't confuse me. Different perspective, yet I understood. No worries.
Thanks for listening.
Yes. Anyone else that wants to share?
Anyone else that has discovered and have it this past like couple weeks that you would like to improve?
Well, I want to say mine because I feel like being at work and doing that routine of waking up and going somewhere else, like it gave me structure. I feel like right now I don't have any structure. So I cannot depend it on work. But right now I feel like it's a mess. Like I need to boundaries. Like I love the examples that Mercy provided, like things that she's done in terms of schooling, in terms of the leftovers, like all that. I definitely need to implement that in my life as new habits.
I discovered a bad habit the last couple of weeks. So I have a routine for waking up, the usual. And because my office is here, I just after that routine, I go to work. And it has happened that I watch the clock and it's 10 a.m. and I haven't had breakfast. And it has become a habit, and I'm trying to fight it. Just having my routine of waking up, and then as soon as I can go and have breakfast instead of going to the email and start working, because if not, I lose track of time. So that's a bad habit that I need to control.
I thank you that you mentioned that, Carlos, because I think through all these changes, our habits that were healthy, if we don't maintain them, we are run by the day-to-day, new way of doing things, and then we generate bad habits. That's really good that you mentioned it. How we maintain a balance is key. Any other comments?
I'm in the opposite of Carlos. I never used to make breakfast because I didn't have time. I always like to sleep late. So on these 2 weeks, I've been getting breakfast all days. So I'm getting better. So
that's good. Awesome. That's great then. That it has helped you then create a new good habit for you. Great. Anyone else?
Me too, but I'm gaining weight, so I don't know if it's good or bad.
Cool. Yeah. Who spoke? No escuché quién habló.
¿Lo de gaining weight o
¿Quién habló?
lo mío o después de mí? Que no
you. Who? You was just that I'm not seeing.
After you.
Juan. No. Okay. Juan. And what about? Do you have any habits of exercising or into that aspect that you can sort of balance it?
I should add one of those, but I'm not doing anything.
All right.
So in my case, I think for the Zumba thing, one of the things that I like about Zumba is because I interact with people, and I have the instructor. And so what I've been doing is that I am doing Zumba live, like not only YouTube videos, but like live sessions. I found some people are doing it, so I just join and I do it from home. It's not the same, but it helps.
Yes.
Something that I learned with this.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Something I wanted to share. It's interesting that going like virtual in all these like exercise like also helps retain that routine that we have, if it makes sense. Like for example, my son takes jiu-jitsu classes on Saturdays, so right now he can't go, right? But the teacher every Saturday at the same time, like he's giving the lessons through Zoom actually. So it's good for them because then they can still get that routine that they're used to and get their exercise and their lessons, but in a different way, right? So
That's good.
Yes. So any other Abarcan would like to share anything else?
Habits or non-habits, anything that you would like to share with the group? We're here. We might as well take advantage of the time to share thoughts.
Yes, definitely. I really liked how we opened the meeting, the check-in. I think that adds. I love it. Like when we do check-ins and we ask each other how we're doing. I feel so like loved and cared of. So I think that's a new habit that I have gained from this past 2 weeks of being more vulnerable and feeling the love. It's a good habit that I have gained.
and I think that habit is important as we have, we're working virtually, because if we're just getting into business in all the conversations, like we won't get that chance of connection, right? And seeing how the other person is and really like just having a chat about how things are going and supporting each other. So I feel like that check-in is super important when we're having virtual meetings. And we're all I think virtual meetings, like even if you're in the office and you have meetings with other folks from Zoom, but as a practice in this kind of setting that we're living right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for all those that shared. We wanted to share this information. We're gonna be providing them. Marta, I don't know if you want to share.
Yes. I was actually looking to see if anything came through chat. These are some resources. We will be launching soon. Stay tuned. A forum for all of us to access resources from all of these coffee breaks, and hopefully that will evolve as we add more topics and we learn how to collaborate in this new normal. So stay tuned. We're gonna give you access to all of these resources in the next couple of days.
Yes, the book, The Power of Habits, there's a video, and also there's a flowchart by the author of The Power of Habit that is really good, also like to map the process. So this is what we wanted to share with you. And just to remind you that the team, Talent Strategy, we all are here for you, to hear you for any type of ideas, any type of proposals that you would like for us, the team, to implement across Abarca, or for your team. We are here for you.
And even topics, if you think of topics that might be good for some of these conversations, like feel free to share. We're planning on expanding these to next week, so shoot us an email.
Yes.
And if you would like to host any of them as well, we are open to doing that.
Yeah.
Then we can just co-host them and co-facilitate them. So just let us know.
Yes. Well, thank you to everyone that joined us and that participated either through the chat or through the commenting. Thank
See you
you.
tomorrow. There's another one tomorrow. Same time, same channel.
Yes. Thank you.
Bye.
Gracias, Carolina. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.